Right here is 7-foot Kevin Durant with the ball in the post. Judging by this frame, you would suggest this is a pretty favorable matchup for KD. Unfortunately, there's no such thing as a favorable matchup against Gary Payton II, because as KD initially tries to create separation, he is met with GP2's incredible core strength, which forces him into a one-legged fadeaway that GP2 contests perfectly for the miss. Or how about this play? This time Gary is matched up against the shiftier Van Vliet 30 feet from the rim. Fred gets past him, but only for a second before Gary swats it away from behind. The last time this guy was healthy, the Golden State Warriors were NBA champions. 2 years later, and GP2 has re-established himself as one of the best defenders in the NBA, regardless of position. If you don't believe me, the stats might provide some clarity. So far this season, Gary Payton II ranks first in deflections per 36 minutes, third in steals, and 8th in the entire NBA in plus-minus, which ranks first of any of the Warriors players. And these stats only scratch the surface of how impactful GP2 is, because when I tell you he changes the entire team, boy do I have some more evidence for you guys. But before we talk about that, Gary's impact goes way beyond any statistical measurement. This is a man that creates chaos every time he's on the floor. Just ask Malik Monk. On this first play, McGee sets a screen to try and get Monk some space. GP2 gets right in his face, pressuring him at half court, so much so that Monk steps on the line and a turnover is forced. 3 quarters later, and again, GP2 is pressuring Monk, forcing him to go to his less favorable left side, which Monk tries to avoid doing before running out of time and causing a shot clock violation. Neither of those plays show up in the stat sheet as a steal, but those are 2 turnovers forced solely because of the defensive brilliance of the young glove. Or how about against Detroit, where 6'6" Cade Cunningham tries to use his size to overpower GP, but GP's combination of strength and active hands are too much for anyone, regardless of his size or skill. And what's crazy to me about Gary's defense is he can literally shut down an entire offense for segments of a game. Look no further than the Dubs win over OKC. In a game where the Thunder could not miss, one man changed everything over the last couple of minutes. With 80 seconds left in the game, Giddey has the ball out top against Steph. He drives before trying to kick it to Chet, which GP2 deflects. The ball then falls back to Giddey, who drives again, and once again, it's GP2 this time causing a jump ball, which he then won, leading to 2 points down the other end for the Dubs. But it was the next play that gave the Warriors the crucial lead. With 50 seconds remaining, Jalen Williams brings the ball up the floor. He then tries what no man should ever try, which is beating Gary off the dribble. Gary forces the turnover, which Clay then snatches up before getting fouled and giving the Dubs a 2-point lead. I didn't even show you, but in the build-up to that play on Giddey, he got another deflection, which forced the Thunder to reset. If you were to go into a lab and create the perfect guard defender, it would look something like Gary Payton II. His combination of strength, athleticism, and most importantly, anticipation is otherworldly. And the key word there is anticipation. This man's defensive IQ is through the roof. Just watch this play. Gordon brings the ball up the floor. Booker is off the ball doing everything in his power to create separation, whilst Nurkic sets the pick. And just at the last second, GP2 helps off Booker to pick off the pass in the pick and roll. That's a tongue twister. Or on some plays where Gary is defending the pick and roll, and he just jumps the pass. He has some sickening sixth sense that enables him to know when the pass is coming. Gary is so good defensively that it's hard to even describe it, but there is a quote that might give you guys a better idea. Prior to the Dubs championship season, with GP2 still fighting for a roster spot, Steph Curry said this to Bob Myers: "Don't let that man go nowhere and have him guarding me in games. I don't need that, Bob." This was following Gary guarding Steph all preseason long in open gym and clearly making an impression. Now, we all know the Warriors broke that promise last year, and it was a vital mistake, with the loss of Gary being a huge reason the Dubs fell off last season. In fact, if you look at the Warriors' record since 2021, the difference when he plays versus he doesn't is absolutely staggering. Now, sure, there are other factors, but having a top 5 defender on the floor makes a pretty big difference. It's more than just his defense, though. Offensively, this man has a really unique skill set. When you hear Gary referred to as the little big man, you immediately think of plays like this.
To behind the back. Oh, Gary Payton!
Curry, 3. Lee, nice find. Oh my goodness!
Payne finding Green up top, and there you go! The man can fly! On threes. But on the dunks, much better!
But what makes GP2 so unique offensively is the fact he actually plays like a little big man. Watch this play. Steph brings the ball up the floor. Gary screens for him, gets the pocket pass, and even with a shot blocker waiting at the rim, he goes straight by the rim for the layup. That's a 6'2" guard setting a screen and attacking downhill against a 6'8" big man. And we've seen this for years now. Just look at last year's playoffs. When the Warriors were having no success against Anthony Davis in the pick and roll, who did they go to? They went to Gary Payton II, and it's his combination of verticality along with his ability to change angles in the air that makes him such a tough cover in the pick and roll. But when I say he plays like a big man, it's more than just setting screens. Like on this play where Gary has Monk in the post, Saric fires it in, and through contact, Gary throws up a lefty hook on the move. Yes, a left-handed hook shot from a 6'2" guard. Or how about on this play where he got the ball at the free throw line, takes a dribble, and this time he throws up a hook against Domantas Sabonis. Yes, just a guard casually using post moves against a 6'10" center. And it's this level of skill that gets lost when talking about Gary, because everyone knows he's a dynamite athlete and unbelievable defender, but around to the rim, he has an array of moves that make him a legit offensive threat when surrounded by the right pieces. Even going back to the game against OKC, prior to Steph's incredible game winner, the bucket that put Golden State ahead came from GP2. Steph brings the ball up, GP2 sets the screen, Steph then gives it up to Draymond, who fakes the handoff, and with Dort forced to step up, he lobs it up to GP. Now, whilst that might seem like a really straightforward play, even the ability to catch the oop and adjust, banking it instead of throwing it down, is a play that you don't see from guards very often. It's also worth mentioning that whilst his scoring is more like a big man, he still shows some of those guard-like skills when making certain passes, which is obviously crucial playing in an offense as free-flowing as the Dubs. But I promised you guys I'd mention just how impactful he has been this season, so let's do that. Now, it's only a small sample size, but so far this season, with Gary Payton II on the floor, the Golden State Warriors have a defensive rating of 98, which would be first in the NBA. With him off the floor, that drops to 121, which would be last in the NBA, even worse than the Washington Wizards. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the impact of Gary Payton II.
Curry, three!
Now, if you did make it all the way to the end of the video, a like would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you want to see more content like this, you may as well subscribe. Either way, have a nice day. Bye.